Ich muss früh aufstehen. A perfectly ordinary sentence. Now add one word at the front. Weil. And the sentence rearranges itself. Weil ich früh aufstehen muss. The muss has traveled all the way to the end past the infinitive, and it is now the final word. Nothing else changed. One conjunction did that. This is the rule that separates people who have studied German for a year from people who sound like they live there. And it is completely mechanical once you see what's happening. Here it is in one line. In a subordinate clause, the conjugated verb goes to the very end. That's the whole rule. Ich bleibe zu Hause, weil ich krank bin. Bin is conjugated, so bin goes last. Ich weiß, dass du recht hast. Hast goes last. The conjunctions that do this are worth memorizing as a set. Weil because, das that, wenn if or when, obwohl although, damit so that, als when in the past, and ob whether. Meet any of those and you already know where the verb is going before you finish the sentence. Now the pair that catches everyone, because both words translate as bekausa. Weil is subordinating. It sends the verb to the end. Ich bleibe zu Hause, weil ich krank bin. Den is coordinating. It changes nothing whatsoever. Ich bleibe zu Hause, denn ich bin krank. Same meaning, same politeness, completely different word order. And notice den is in good company, und, aber, oder and then all leave the sentence alone. If you're mid-sentence and you panic, den is the safe exit, because it asks nothing of you. But weil is far more common in speech, so it's the one worth owning. This is where it gets interesting, and it connects straight to the modal verbs. In a main clause the modal sits second and the infinitive goes last. Ich muss früh aufstehen. Put that inside a subordinate clause and the whole verb block moves to the end together. But the conjugated modal ends up after the infinitive. Weil ich früh aufstehen muss. Aufstehen tehen muss. That order feels backwards to English ears, and it is the single most common place people stumble. Same with separable verbs. Outside, the prefix flies off. Ich stehe auf. Inside a subordinate clause it simply rejoins, weil ich aufstehe. The perfect tense behaves the same way. Ich habe gestern gearbeitet becomes weil ich gestern gearbeitet habe. The participle stays put and the conjugated habe slides past it to the end. Once you see that the finite verb is always the one being moved, every one of these stops being a separate rule to memorize. You can put the subordinate clause first, and German does this constantly. Weil ich müde bin, gehe ich früh ins Bett. Look at the middle. Bin, comma, gehe. Two verbs meeting at the comma. That's not a mistake. It's the signature of a correct German sentence. The reason is simple. The whole subordinate clause counts as Position von, so the main clause's verb has to come immediately after it, in position 2, before the subject. If you ever see Verb, Verb in German writing and think something has gone wrong, it hasn't. That collision is how you know the writer knows the rule. 3 things to watch. First, the mistake almost everyone makes early. Weil ich will in Berlin arbeiten. Wrong, the conjugated will must go last. Weil ich in Berlin arbeiten will. Second, weil es ist spät also wrong, same reason. Weil es spät ist. Third, and subtler. In spoken German, you will absolutely hear people use weil with normal word order. It happens, it is extremely common. And it is still not what you want in writing, in an exam, or with anyone whose opinion of your German matters. Learn the rule properly first. You can relax it later, once relaxing it is a choice rather than an accident. Everything on one board. Subordinating conjunction means the conjugated verb goes last. Weil, das, wenn, obwohl, damit, ob. Den is not one of them. It leaves the order alone, like und and aber. A modal lands after its infinitive, aufstehen muss. A separable prefix rejoins, aufstehe. And if the clause comes first, the main verb follows straight after the comma, which is where you get bin, gehe. Screenshot this one. If you keep only the top line, you will already be writing better German than you were 10 minutes ago. This is a rule you cannot learn by nodding at it. The word order only becomes automatic when you've built the sentences yourself a few dozen times. There's a free drill on exactly this at übungszeit.com. A short story with weil, das, and wenn doing real work, including the den contrast and a modal inside a subordinate clause, so you meet the hard version while it's fresh. No account needed, and it marks your answers and explains them. The written guide is linked below too. Los geht's!